Okay, so we're here at Rip Gym, we're going to train chest. Every bloke's go-to exercises when they come in the gym, bench press. I'm going to show you how to train the 4 most important exercises for chest in my eyes, and how to do it right with myself, and how the form's often done wrong with my good friend Robbie. Okay, so the key to training your chest is to try and keep your shoulders out of the exercise. So when you're on any chest exercise, especially the bench, make sure you rotate your shoulders back, so you slightly arch your back when you lie down flat. Keep your shoulders behind you when you press, and don't overextend your elbows and bring your shoulders into play at the top. So it looks like 3/4 movement. This is how it should be done. So as you can see, there's a slight rest pause on my chest before a push up. And what you see in the gym often that goes wrong is people bouncing off the chest. I'm going to show you now how it's done wrong, and Robbie's going to jump in on the bench and show you typically what people do. So it's either left to rest too long on the chest and almost squash your neck in doing it, or people will bounce it off the chest and overextend the elbows at the top. So one of the best exercises in my eyes for your chest is a flying movement, and the dumbbell fly is a great movement for that, as long as you're keeping your arms fairly wide. Now a lot of people use too much weight and they almost turn it into a press, so you want a wide arcing movement, just a slight bend in your elbow to take the stress off the joint. So it's a stretching movement, and the chest works in its fullest range when it comes from a stretch across the body to a contraction, which obviously you can't get from a pressing movement. So a fly is hugely important, and I'm going to show you how to do it correctly. We're using an incline bench so that we change the angles affecting your chest. Alright, so if you see Robbie doing the fly, and it almost looks like a press because the weight's not allowing him to come out too wide. But weight's too heavy, often you'll see people do this movement. So you want to make sure the movement comes as wide as you can rather than turn it into a press. Okay, so after them 2 exercises, it's great to move on to some sort of machine-based chest exercise, because your chest is fairly tight now, so it allows you to keep tension on your chest. So I've moved on to this hammer press, but you could use any press your gym's got. Now the key here is to make sure you don't involve your triceps, so you're not holding too close together, and you don't overextend your elbows, so you bring your shoulders in. So remember, keep your shoulders back and keep that 3/4 range on, so it's constant tension on your chest. Now this is how it's done. So as you can see here, I'm not overextending my elbows, and my hands are in a fairly wide position, pausing at the stretch before you push forward. Now Robbie's going to show you how it's often done wrong, and that's by holding too close together and overextending the elbows to make it more of a shoulder exercise. So now we're finishing chest with a pec deck, so you can really keep the isolation on your chest. Now this is probably the worst performed exercise for chest in the entire gym. So we're going to do this last, and what you want to do is always make sure that your shoulders are rounded back. Then your bum's against the pad, you arch your back slightly, and rather than use your hands and gripping the handles really tight and pushing in to bring it all on your shoulders, you arch yourself back and feel like you push with the cutting part of your hand, so the tension's there. That way you'll keep all the isolation on your chest and not bring in your front deltoids. So I'll show you how that's done now. So your bum's back, your shoulders are back, and you use the cutting part of your hand to bring this together. Try and pause at the stretch and pause at the contraction. And there you go. So now Rob will show you how it's done the worst way. So as you can see, Robbie's not even sat on the pad properly, and a lot of people lean forward as they get tired and that'll be all in the front shoulders that's working, that not on the chest whatsoever. But the ego is training very hard right now. So that's the chest day wrapped up. 4 exercises. I'd choose 3 sets, work really hard in the final 2 sets, go to absolute failure, keep your reps anywhere between 10 and 20, and make sure that the muscle can't do 1 more rep, move on to the next exercise. If you do them 4 exercises right, you won't have anything else left in your chest to do, and you'll be growing.